Black Oni.
This is Solid Snake, and you are now listening to the Black Oni podcast. So pay some damn attention. Damn.
I want to first take a moment to introduce our special guest for today, which is Crucian Gaming.
Hey, let's go. What's up? What's everyone?
Yeah, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Like we were talking earlier, man. Just trying to get things done for before Thanksgiving happens tomorrow. Got a lot of the families coming over for the first time, so just getting ready for that and feeling good so far, man. Can't complain.
Yeah, that's awesome. I am really excited to host Thanksgiving and Christmas once we get the opportunity to do so. So I'm a little jealous of you, but I also know that it's a ton of work. So I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come vibe with me. And again, this is more so than anything just an excuse to get us together and chat for a little while.
Oh man, I appreciate it. Gets me kind of get to vibe with you. It's been too long and some time off of work too, man, which is awesome.
This is work for you, man. Don't worry about it. Just tell them. Be like, yo, I'm working.
Oh, it ain't work, man. I'm just,
Oh, that's great. So, for everyone else watching right now, we're gonna do an icebreaker. I obviously invite you all to also answer this question in chat. Because we're just starting, it's probably going to be more people trickling in afterwards. So if you're watching the VOD on YouTube, feel free to let us know what your answer to this is. But I want to know, what is your favorite Thanksgiving gaming memory?
Thanksgiving gaming memory?
Yeah.
Man, I don't even know if I have one of those, man.
Yeah.
That is definitely an icebreaker. The only thing I can think of is that, like, I like back then when I was living in the Virgin Islands, like, they gave my brother like an N64 early instead of waiting for Christmas, and we were literally playing 007 Mario Kart for literally maybe till the next morning. So probably for like a good 12 hours straight, we were all just playing 64, and that's when it first came out. So I think that's probably the best memory I've had so far. Other than that, I think I have no other memories.
Yo, that is pretty hype, though. Getting a chance to play a game early before all of your other friends can, for Thanksgiving? You kidding me? I would have lost my mind.
I mean, we wanted it so bad, this 64. Well, my bigger brother did, and he was they were gonna wait till Christmas, but then my dad went to the room, came back out with a box, and he's like, oh, just have fun with it, and he's like, huh? And then when he opened it, he literally did 4 laps around the home, around the house, just enjoying, and hooked it up and played till morning, man, which was awesome. So,
was your brother the N64 kid before the N64 kid?
Yes, man.
Yo, that's awesome. Mateo's Cloud in chat says Gundam Dynasty Warriors 2. That was your moment, your favorite Thanksgiving when that came out, I assume? That's lit.
Hey, I've never. I'm a big Dynasty Warriors fan, but I've never seen a Gundam one, so I gotta go take a look at that.
Yeah, man. I don't remember how many of those games they made, but I remember I used to love Dynasty Warriors, but that was before they did the Gundam one. But yeah, I've heard some good things about them though.
They're pretty fun, especially me and my best friend back then would literally, that's all we would play and just go crazy in that game, because the thing is, the story was you would have to play every character has a different story.
Yeah,
and then you would have to do that to unlock different characters, and the most badass dude was Lu Bu, and we were always tag teaming, man. It was great. It was definitely a good one.
I remember I played Dynasty Warriors, I think it was 3. And there was a battle, I think, I want to say it was near a bridge where he appears and you're supposed to run from him.
Yeah.
And my try-hard ass decided to try to fight him. So I beat him. I eventually did beat him, but I was there for a solid 20 minutes just wailing on him and dodging and wailing on. It was, I wouldn't advise other people to do that. It took way too long.
No, I mean, like, yeah, like in the beginning, you can't really like defeat him because he'll like almost one or two shot you. So once you like, if you ever meet him again, because they put him in the game like a random encounter. So like, if you can catch him later on when you're like leveled up, because your characters level up as you go, then you should be able to hopefully take him down. But it definitely gets really really tough.
Yeah, it does. It really does. Like 11 of those. Yeah, there was 11 Dynasty Warriors, definitely. But Gundam Dynasty Warriors, are they 11? I don't know. I feel like there was probably only like 3 of those, maybe?
Well, they got the Dynasty Warriors. They got Samurai, like Samurai Warriors, something like that.
Yeah.
Which are like ninjas and like samurai and things like that. Then you have like the Nintendo one, which is like Hyrule Warriors.
That's right.
So, yeah, they got a lot of different collabs out there, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I love that. And once again, folks, his information is below, but make sure you go follow Crucian Gaming immediately, expeditiously. Follow him on Twitch and on Twitter. Is there anywhere else that people should go to check out your content, though, like Instagram and all that?
I mean, I use Instagram mostly when I go to events, obviously for work and stuff like that. That's when I use it. But other than that, it's just mostly Twitch and Twitter, man. I can't keep up with the rest of the vibes, man. Like, I mean, I wish I had a TikTok, but I just don't have time to kind of grow that either. So I just keep, I just keep slim.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be doing it, and we're gonna talk about it in the further section down with burnout, but
Oh, no problem.
I'm tired, man. I try to do the TikTok. I have a TikTok, and I put some stuff up, but I'm like, man, to keep up with these fresh kids who are hungry and dancing, I don't know, man.
I mean, all they do, no offense, is go to school, enjoy themselves, and go back home and make some more TikToks. But
yeah,
there is some good content there, man, and that's definitely a platform that they haven't really messed with the algorithm. So you can just anything you put up can just pop off, and be popular. So
yeah, it's been an interesting time. I can't imagine what it's like for being younger in this generation, and just I guess the pressure from people to make content even as like a young kid. But
it is definitely tough. Yep.
Yeah. So we did a very short kind of intro to just, hey, what's up going on, everybody, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. I want to know a little bit more about Crushin, though. I want to know, the backstory, the origins. I want to know all the good stuff that people probably from your own community have been wondering, too. Maybe not. But first and foremost, before we get into the whole backstory, who are you? What do you do? What is it that I see you got the Astro hat on? I obviously know why, but maybe people at home don't.
So for the quick, what I do now is that not only do I create content part-time, but I also am the esports manager at Astro Gaming. So, I kind of help run our sponsored events. I help manage our sponsored teams. And that's pretty much what I do. Events meaning fighting game events, or events like Call of Duty League or Halo that's coming up here in December. Events like that we when we end up sponsoring, I have to go out and make sure our partners uphold our pretty much our deliverables and all and the contract and all that good stuff. So
yeah, that's good though. What were you doing before you were working at Astro?
So before that, I was actually in the Navy. I was in the Navy while still trying to make content full time, and then I got out of the Navy in 2018, and I went, full time as a streamer. And then I went to PAX. It was PAX East in 2018, so it's I literally left in March of 2018 out of the Navy, and I literally went to PAX, in between that time, and I went over there, and I went up to Astro. And I was one of the only persons back then actually having a marketing deck. So I would have it wasn't an iPad back then. It was my Samsung tablet with a marketing deck on there. And I would just walk up to, to whoever was the influencer manager and show them on my thing. I'm I can email it to you right now. I got Wi-Fi. So I had my marketing. I was super professional about everything. And then, they ended up sponsoring me at the time. And then on the other end, like I ended up talking to like their events manager, like, oh yeah, we might need help to, to run events and do this. And I was like, dude, I mean, I'm down to help if you guys can, bring me out to events like E3 and events like, like PAX West. So that way I don't have to pay my way. I'll just work for a few hours and then go market or do something. But like it didn't work that way. Like I was trying to do full time, streaming, which I did for a year. I did school full time as well while doing events.
Whew.
Yeah, I was doing all three at the same time, and then they liked how I worked so much that they just kept giving me more and more work. So full time streaming and school kind of took a little bit of a backseat, and then like I just, I started becoming full time, and then I believe it was in early or late 2019 December. They're like, hey, the global head of esports at Astro was like, hey, I might need somebody to help me. I was like, if it gets me more hours and more full time, I'm down to help you. So I got hired for that, I believe in late 2020. I mean,
Okay.
Late 2019, and then mid 2020 around June, I got hired full time to finally, to be part of the Logitech family. And then I was a esports coordinator, just doing just simple things here and there until like about 6 months later. Then they're like, hey man, you're doing great. We just need you to manage this stuff, and kind of bump me up to the esports manager. So kind of fast track that way.
Yeah, that's dope, man. I feel like that's the dream success story, right? Like everybody who's trying to get into the industry. We'll have some more stuff regarding like advice and stuff, but
Yeah.
everybody trying to get into the industry is like that's been on the dream. Go to an event, make an impression, get brought into the team over time. So kudos and congratulations to you for doing that, man. That's pretty dope.
Ah, man, it takes a lot of work. I'm telling you, when I was one of the first people back then walking around with a tablet, showing all my statistics for the previous years, because, like that's how professional I was, and people need to learn how to trade these marketing decks and go up to people and and just know how to talk to them. And it's not like an event, right, where you just want to go and talk to one influencer manager and think you're good, right? It doesn't work that way. You need to go the next day. Hey, how was day one, man? How was your day? Anything I can help with? Like, don't even make it about like the influencer stuff. Just build that rapport, because if you're going back making your rounds every day, all they're gonna do is remember you and be like, yo, this guy was so kind, checked on us and how all of our days doing. We remember him. Let's probably work with him. So
That's
gotta be smart about it.
Yeah, that's honestly so a little backstory about me now with regards to that. So Astro, for people at home who don't know, Astro was actually one of the first brands to like peripheral brands to officially start working with me. So I actually started working with Astro before I was working with Logitech, and then they got acquired. But it was at PAX East. It was probably like 2015.
Oh wow.
It was probably back then. They had a third-party company that they worked with called Maverick, but I had I bought Astro products because I love Astro products. So I had mine just on, like wearing it as like fashion, and I was like interviewing people left and right. That's one of the ways that I was building rapport, and one of the ways that I kind of brought myself into the industry was that I just started doing my own thing. I made a website. I had some people come on and do some writing for it. I went to events and just had a presence at events with my microphone, my camera. I had a little the tag on a microphone to like make it more official. Like I went the full mile to like basically give my own self the opportunity to do stuff. Because every time I applied for an internship or for this, that, and the third, they just kind of ignored it. So I was like, I just gotta do it myself. So I ended up like going by the Astro booth and interviewing one of the reps there, and we just had a great time. And just out on a whim, I was just like, hey, I had a great time. Obviously, I love the Astro brand. Is there anyone I can talk to be able to work more with Astro in any way? And I'm trying to remember what her name was, but I'm not sure if she still works there or not. she was just like, yeah, I'll give you the content information to get in touch with us, and let's just see what we can do. So that's kind of my own story, but probably not as epic as yours, but similar in the sense of just being professional and just
pretty good. Yeah.
yeah. So that's literally how I got my in with Astro, and since then it's been dope.
Interviewing is actually pretty cool. Like, you can just go up to the booths and just, do an interview about, what the booth's about. What are you guys doing? Anything special coming out? That's that's kind of like that news, that news coverage type of thing out there. And they like that stuff. So that's a good way to kind of create your own icebreaker to kind of get in there, which is pretty nice. So
yeah. Awesome. I'm gonna see if I can find the original interview. It was a long time ago.
Oh man.
Oh man. But beyond that, though, I'd like to know from you, how long would you say you've been creating content in general? Like when you first started out, because you mentioned before that you were doing full time, but how long were you doing part time before then?
So I started making content in November of 2014. I was literally playing all type of different games back then. I was really big into like Heroes of the Storm and Hearthstone back then, and that's kind of where I started.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, like, I was growing a great community back then. The problem is, like, I would create a community around like Blizzard games, and then the Navy would decide, like, hey, we need to go underway for 3 weeks at a time, or we need to go on a deployment 3 weeks at a time. So I never really got the chance to, like, back then in 2014 really grow myself properly, because I would have to stop and then be gone for 3 weeks to 5 months at a time. And when I would come back and start streaming again, I wouldn't have those same people around, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah. Again, not to make it about myself, but I'm going through kind of a similar thing after having done the hiatus.
Yeah.
So I can empathize exactly with what you've been going through prior, but at least you're in a situation now where you don't have to rely on how many people are watching you at a time. It's more so about what can you do as a manager and as a creator as well. So that's dope.
Yeah, I mean, I try to keep in touch with people still offline, and people understand what's going on with what I'm doing. I literally update them just about every week or two and tell them, hey guys, this is what's going on. Things are too stressful, things are too busy, I can't really be working and setting up. So like I keep communicating, and whenever I go live, those same people that have been around for so long are still there. So it's pretty nice to have those same people around. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. What was the first game that you remember playing?
First game, man. Ooh. First game I think I played was Double Dragon 1. That was the first game I think I've ever touched on NES back in the day. So, and I think from then I was like, I had that Nintendo where you put the cartridge on top instead of sliding it in.
Okay, yeah.
I like the Japanese one. I don't know where we got it from or who we got it from in the Virgin Islands, but like that every time I put a cartridge in, that thing worked and one clicks. But that was the first game I ever played. That and Mario 1, 2, and 3. I think Double Dragon, between those two, were the first games I've probably ever played.
Wow. And were you hooked basically from that point on, or did you like take time off and then you got back into it?
No, I was hooked, man. I think I played video games all my life until I actually got to high school and I could like work to afford my own PC back then.
Mm-hmm.
And then like around 2003, 2004, I finally was able to get a PC, which was like some shitty ass Dell that could run World of Warcraft. But like I got into World of Warcraft and that was it, man.
Yeah.
I was hooked for a long time on that game.
Man, I know it's probably a soft spot to even talk about World of Warcraft now because of everything, really. What was the last time you played World of Warcraft?
I stopped playing in 2017.
Okay.
Officially fully stopped back then, yeah. So, like, I was literally playing from Alpha 2004 all the way to 2017, and I was, like my experience in WoW was literally, I've done the top guilds and the servers. I've done server first. I've done, no world first, but I've done, server first, and I've done all that stuff. And it was a great experience, man. It was probably one of the best experience in an MMO. I met a lot of friends that I'm still with, talk to in real life.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty cool, man. But yeah, I stopped playing back in 2017. So
Okay. So you didn't have to worry about any of the controversy of like the expansions and like the WoW remastered and all the issues people were having with them.
nope,
Dodge that.
I don't have to do any of that, man. I'm pretty much, yep, like you said, dodge that completely. So pretty happy about that.
So I know it's not on our list here, but what are you playing now then? What's taking up all your time aside from the move and prepping for Thanksgiving?
Honestly, man, I feel so bad that I haven't really made content in a while. Because usually when I play games or do anything, I usually do it on stream. So I haven't really touched anything. But I'm still playing. I'm still big on Star Citizen, even though it's still in alpha. I still do a lot of stuff for that game. Not only by playing it, but also I run events in Star Citizen, which we run events in the game, which we actually just ran like a massive like PvP 2v2 battle that we did this past Saturday. So I mean,
That's
that
cool.
game, that I don't know, that game's just been my home for a while since I left WoW. So I went from like a decent MMO, and I went to this one, even though it's not finished. It's still like the community's so great. Like I'm just trying to do what I can on the background to kind of just help the game grow in my own way. So
Yeah. What do you feel is next for Star Citizen then? I only had a chance to play it a handful of times, and I'm on my laptop now, so I can't run the game and stream.
so I mean the game is going pretty well, right? The game didn't really start like it. Everybody keeps saying, "Oh, it's been in development since 2012." The thing is, people don't understand is that the game, like it took them 5 years to build a foundation. Like without that foundation, they wouldn't have anything, right? So like if like in those 5 years they had to build the offices that they have, the crew that they have, the people that they have, right? So like I feel like development actually started in 2017, and it's been growing so much faster than we ever thought it was. And they have a pretty good trajectory so far. Things are behind, but sometimes they kind of surprises with putting things in the game that we didn't think that was already in the game. But things are moving a lot faster than people think. And like I'm not gonna say the game is gonna be out in 3 years, but you never know. So
Yeah. They're doing a lot of like really ambitious things with the game, and people
Yeah.
like to give them flack because of that, and it's still not here and blah blah blah. But I don't know, like a lot of times people don't understand like creative projects, how they evolve, what kind of things happen in between that time. When things go wrong, like it kind of turns into like a snowball effect, so they have to like go back and like change things, and it's a lot.
Oh yeah, I totally agree, man. But that's why like I don't worry about like there's other things that I play, right? So that way I'm not stuck with the mentality of like, man, this sucks that this is the only game I play and I can't do much about it because the game is not optimized, or this is not out yet, or everything's not completed. No, I go play it, man. I love JRPGs, and I love RPGs, Final Fantasies, Tales of Symphonia, games like that I can just go and kind of lose myself in the story, and just have a good time and not have to worry about, like what if the game is done yet. It just giving me the ability to go finish the other games I've always been wanting to play or finish offline or on stream or things like that, right? So
Yeah.
so it makes it easier for me, man. I don't mind waiting.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm the same. You mentioned Tales of Symphonia, a few action RPGs in there. What is your favorite genre and your favorite game of all time?
Final Fantasy 10.
Okay.
Yep. I that was, look, man, like I was in the Virgin Islands, and there was this one lady that she knew how much I love Final Fantasy, right? But Final Fantasy was the first game I played before I went back and played like 7 or 8 or 9.
Mm-hmm.
So like this lady knew, like when I kept seeing the commercials about Final Fantasy, like this was a store called Sam Goody back in the day. And they sell like music and games and DVDs back then and things like that. So like I told this lady, look, this game, if you guys have a copy, please hold it for me. This lady called me like in 2 hours. She's like, "Oh, only one copy came in, and that was on release day." She's like, "If you can be here in 10 minutes, I'll give it to you, dude." I from my home, my dad and my parents weren't home yet. I literally taxied all the way there just to get my game, and I was like, when I started playing that, that was the first game I ever 100%. I literally like played that game for maybe 3,000 hours. I'm not even kidding. Like it was
Holy shit.
one game on PS2 when it came out. I played it for 3,000 hours. I literally maxed out every character in Blitzball. I got everything done. I beat the game a few times. I maxed out every character on the sphere grid. I literally did everything you can think of, and
Dang.
I still have the box of my game and my memory card. So I still have all my PlayStation stuff. If I want to go back and show people that I'm not kidding when I played it, I can literally show them. So
That's amazing.
yes, that is my game, man. Final Fantasy X, and I couldn't put it down. It was great.
Yeah. That was my gateway Final Fantasy game too, for sure. Like I had played the other ones. Like a friend came over to, show it off, and I think it was like Final Fantasy 9. That was like the last game I really remember a friend coming over and like showing me like, "Yo, check this out." I was like, "That's cool. It's not bad. But it didn't catch me the way that Final Fantasy X did immediately.
The thing is, I think what caught me was like just the graphics at the time and the story behind it. Like the story was so freaking good, man, that
It was.
I like I've never paid attention to a game. Like right now I have a really short attention span, man. That is sucks because like I play other games too, but like I can't really sit here and actually like play a game the way I used to, man, and it sucks because like I worry about all the stuff that I have to do outside of me playing a game. So that's
Hmm.
why, like, if I can't give the game the attention it deserves, I'm not gonna even touch it. But back then, man, when I played Final Fantasy X, that was the game that had me hooked in, and it was definitely a journey, man, and I loved it.
Yeah, that's such a strong like nostalgic memory that you triggered by like saying Final Fantasy X too, because like it was like a whole vibe to like life at the time. Um,
Yes.
and there were other games that were out that were turn based and that had good graphics, but like there was just definitely something that was on another level, like a very special. It was the music. It was
Everything. Yes.
that very like iconic like combat music that starts whenever you're getting into an interaction, and then the monsters you're facing, and then like seeing Lulu and Yuna in a party together, like
Yes.
Auron with his arm like there's just so many signature things about that like even to this day, like finding something as iconic as those is really hard.
And the music in that game actually used to take it to actually like when I used to work out or before I joined the Navy, I used to put that stuff in my playlist because like the the scene where you're fighting his dad when he turns into that big monster. There's this song called Underworld and it's just a rock song, dude. That thing pumps me the heck up, man.
I think I know what
Um,
you're talking about. Yeah.
yeah, I forgot who made that song, but it's just so good. Like it starts with like din din din, and
Yeah.
you just get
Yeah.
instantly pumped up, man. I'm just over here like let's go,
Yeah.
But yeah, and then 1,000 words by
Oh,
whoever.
so good.
That's so good, man. Yeah.
So good, man. You're taking me back. I can't do this. It's so good.
Yeah, it was definitely the game where I wish I could be hooked in like that. Maybe when I get older, I'll go back to all the games that I want to finish and be hooked like that and not worry about my phone or work or anything like that. So,
Right. Well, right now is our time, right? Like this is our time to reminisce and talk games and talk all the good stuff that maybe you can't do during the day.
I know. So, which is awesome. So, thank you for inviting me.
Oh, of course. Thanks for being here, man. I'm just need to move this over. Okay. What was my other question? It's taking forever for this to load. I don't know why. Like I moved the window over just for a moment, and then now I can't find where it is. Okay, there we go. So, what would you? This is a hard question to ask because I'm gonna ask it anyway. What do you consider your dream job when it comes to maybe not even gaming, just in general? What is it that you just the thing you really really want to do?
I don't know, man. Like back then, I really wanted to be a pro player, and kind of like be in that position where, I make an impact on people or make an influence on people, as a pro player. But I really haven't, like, after seeing what, pro players go through, I think that I kind of retracted that sentiment in a way. And I'm like, what is going to stop me from making that influence that I want to do now in the position that I'm in now, and I
Hmm.
and I am. So like I don't like, like this job is not easy. Especially, like I'm not gonna say we're short man, but like we don't have enough people to run our department properly, so it can get stressful. But at the end of the day, when I see, an event finish or see our team successful or win a championship, I feel like I was somewhat part of that, and I made a difference, in their part. Whether it's me providing equipment or telling these pro players, like, look, man, like, how are you guys not streaming and marketing yourself? On top of that, like, how are you guys not doing this? Are you guys not doing that? Because I get asked a lot of advice, and so like I'm just glad I'm in the position where I'm at, where I can hopefully make a difference
Hmm.
with some people. If it's one person or if it's multiple people, I'm just happy that I'm here. So like, for a dream job, I'm not sure, man. It's hard, so I think I'm where I'm at now because I can make a difference. um and I don't mind. I wouldn't mind doing this for the rest of my life, to be honest.
That's a good place to be, man. And I was hesitant to ask that question because I didn't want to put you in a situation where you're like, "Oh
Oh
man, I hate this job."
no, I mean, if
I knew
if
he
if
wasn't going to be that.
if I hated it, I wouldn't be here. I would probably go somewhere else or look for something else. Or I honestly, I got lucky. I got lucky because I was doing events, and like my work ethic blew up, and it just showed how hard I work, and it just showed that I cared about the brand, and I cared about the people, and I cared about everything. It's just that like there is times where it's stressful, but the thing is, at the end of the day, like I just want to be able to influence people and just make a difference, whether it's on a team or at an event or a single person. So,
Hmm.
this position, this job has, puts me in a position to do that. So, I don't mind. I don't mind it at all.
Yeah, that's great. I love that's a wonderful answer too.
Hey man, I try. So yeah, man, like a lot of people ask me for advice, and like people think, hey, maybe, like, look, man, I help some of the top players that are on now grow. Back then, right, when I used to average a certain amount of viewers and things like that, I used to go and host these guys so they can get their little bump up the directory, and get known and get seen and get watched, and retweeting their stuff back then, and whichever team I used to root for, I used to make sure, like, I would literally reach out and be like, hey, I can help. And like all this just knowledge that I used to have from a long time ago, just like it's easy for me to tell people now, like, hey man, you don't make yourself marketable as a pro player, then what are you doing as a person? What are you doing for yourself?
Yeah,
Like esports is just so, you don't know what's going to happen next, so you need to figure out a way to, like, hey, make sure you use the position like the team is using you to make your team better, and also use you to market to their partners. But what are you doing for yourself to help make yourself grow, and also use the team to your benefit as well? So
right.
like there's just so many things that like I just try to help people with. And it's all I can do is tell them, and if they want to apply, they apply. If they don't, they don't. So
Yeah,
I'm not gonna do the work for people. So
yeah, that's real. I ain't either.
yeah, I know. Yeah, man. 'Cause some people think that you're just gonna hand it to them, man. It don't work that way, man. You gotta work for it. Like a lot of these pro players out here, like they know they can easily blow up and make a difference, but they just, all they want to do is just scrim and then relax, which I totally get too. It's not a bad thing, but
Yeah,
if you get dropped, then all you're doing is relaxing. You're not doing
yeah.
anything else. So
Know what you're
you
asking
gotta,
for, right?
yep, yep. So
Well, that I think that leads into this next question pretty well. Then these two next questions actually, which is what would you tell yourself 10 years ago with regards to everything that you're doing now and everything you've experienced? If you had like 1 minute where you could just go through a portal and go back in time to your former self with regards to just gaming career, what would you say?
Man, this is something that it wasn't even 10 years ago. This happened like maybe like 4 years ago or 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But like I was the first person to like, so I was playing Fortnite, and this was like the regular Fortnite, not Battle Royale.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
But not Battle Royale. And like I was so stubborn about the Battle Royale that I tried it once and my channel completely blew up. I tried it one time. I did really well because I was playing the normal stuff. I knew what to do. I knew how to build really well because I was playing the normal mode. And I blew up at some point and I just stopped. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go back to the regular game because I'm not feeling the vibe of this Battle Royale. I wish I could go back and tell my dumb ass, yo, take to the Battle Royale and keep growing, bro.
Yeah.
I would have been, I'm not gonna say I would be at the ninja level, but I would say I would have been in a way better position content creating back then as opposed to now. I think that's what I would tell myself.
Damn.
Yo, just keep playing the Battle Royale, man. Just keep playing. Because, dude, like, for some reason, like, I was averaging like 100, and then I went to the Battle Royale for like a week, and I was up like at like 1,000 because that's when the Battle Royale first came out. And I was like, you know what? I'm getting behind the story. Let me go back to the story. And then all of a sudden, everything is trickling down again. So, like, if I would just stuck with it, man, I would have been up there. I would have been one of the first people that, like, was playing Battle Royales back then or was playing that Fortnite and just became that influential creator that I thought I've always wanted to be back then. But like I said, I'm okay with where I'm at now, so it's all good. It's always. I think maybe if I would have went as a bigger creator, maybe I would have been better off. But at the same time, maybe I wouldn't end up where I'm at today. So it's all good. I don't regret it, but I would say if I had a chance to go back, I would have told myself kept playing that Battle Royale, man.
Yeah. Oh, that is crazy. I didn't even know that. So we had known each other at that time, but I didn't see that things got crazy like that with once you started playing Battle Royale. I think it crept up on a lot of people. They didn't expect it to blow up the way.
I just stopped, man, because I just wanted to continue with the story mode, and that was obviously the wrong move.
Well, okay. This is another question that's not on there, but I think it's relevant to what you just said then. So oftentimes when people kind of give advice or information about streaming, about content creation, they say it's important to kind of stick with trends, stick with what's happening in current and basically capitalize on that, and then sticking to only doing that one specific thing. Do you feel like if you did stick with the Battle Royale and then only start playing the Battle Royale, would you be enjoying yourself as much?
That's a very good question. I think with the way they had updates and things coming out, I think yes, I would have been fine. But I think the way my personality is, I think I would have still strayed away after a while into other games that I've kind of wanted to try. Like PUBG or Apex Legends or things like that, because other battle royales were starting to emerge at the time. But I would have stuck something with that trend. Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't think I would have deviated, but I would have still gone to a different game, and then maybe came back to to Fortnite when the next patch came out, and then kind of go back to another game to kind of keep yourself fresh, right? Have that realistic mode or feel with PUBG, and then just came back to when I wanted to maybe go ham on building when the new patch comes out, because that when a new patch comes out and that's your main game that you're playing, people are gonna look or go towards you first before anybody else if they know that they just want to see a reaction, or they want to see you cover what all the information that's out there, because they know that's where what you're gonna do. So
So what do you have in terms of advice for other people trying to get into this industry then? Based on everything that you learned and went through, and now your position at Astro, what do you? The landscape is different, definitely, from when we first started off. And even from when we were going like super heavy in content creation on Twitch specifically, it's even different from then. what are you seeing in terms of the way things are moving, and what is your advice for people just starting to get into it? Because it's when people ask me how do they get into it now, I always tell them like straight up, hey, it's really hard right now because everybody is doing it in one way or another. There's less eyes on less people at this point. So what would you say?
I'll say that, like there's just so much to it, man. Like you said, it's not like back then, right? Like you have to figure out, this in your own way. Like I could give you advice all day long, but that advice may or may not apply to the things that you do, right? So like right now it's definitely hard to grow, but still, like what you like, it's like your job. Whatever you put into it is what you're gonna get out of it. If you plan on working hard and time managing yourself properly and making sure you're doing this for a good year and you're sticking with something, man, like you will grow, believe it or not. I'm not gonna say how much you're gonna grow. I don't know that. It's really all up to you. So if you can time manage yourself well, if you can, make sure you're on time to your broadcast, Monday to Friday or 6 days a week, right? Or you're choosing a game that you're gonna play that you enjoy for a long time. Don't deviate because you're gonna start creating a community from that game, right? Just continue to make content. It's easy for you to hit a button to create a clip on Twitch, put it on YouTube, put it on TikTok, put it somewhere. Like, it's easy. Like whatever you use, that same clip, put it on Instagram, put it on TikTok, put it everywhere. All three places. Like you need to find a way to kind of just, if you're just doing Twitch or if you're just doing streaming on YouTube and you're not doing more, I'm not going to say you're going to fail. I'm just going to say you're not going to really see the growth that you're trying to get as a content creator. You need to do more than everybody else in order for you to grow and kind of break that barrier to kind of, see where you want to be. So there's just so much to it, man. Like it's the game you play, it's the things you do, it's everything, man. You have to put 110% in it. If not, it's not going to work out for you. So
yeah, my thing is anyone can do streaming, but it's not for everybody.
yeah. I mean, I'm just grateful for where I'm at, right? Like I worked so hard over the years for myself to create a community that gratefully sticks around and doesn't matter. I can go live today and they're still around for some reason. And if I can keep creating, I can build from that core group that I still have, right? But at the same time, it's like it's still hard for me to grow. Like lately I haven't had followers, or I've been stuck on 90,000 followers for so long. That's because I all I want to do is just stick with the core that I have and just say hello to these guys, see how everybody's doing, see how these guys, like I've known people for so long in my community, man. People are now fathers. People are, they're like, they used to be 13 years old. Now they're 18 years old. So
yeah,
like,
it's weird.
Crazy how,
it's weird.
Yeah, man. It's like, like I'm growing with this community, but it's like, so I feel so blessed to have that part and that little that I've created so much to just stick around with me over the years. So I'm really happy about that. But yeah, content creation is not easy. So if you want to do it for fun, do it for fun. And if it blows up into something that you want to do full time, you can. But you guys just gotta make a wise decision. But again, if you put part-time hours into it, you're gonna get part-time results. If you put full-time hours into it, you're gonna get full-time results. So
that's real. Makes sense. COVID-19. We all had to deal with it. We're still dealing with it to this day. Some places more than others. They like to pretend like it's not a thing. We won't get into it. But how has that changed your role specifically since you were doing events and now things have kind of transitioned to more digital and then now they're starting to come back a little bit? What's the landscape look like for you?
I mean, it did, pivot a lot of people, but still I feel like it created more work for everyone, right? Because for Call of Duty, their game online was pretty good. They can get private servers and put it at, so back then It was just like I had to get all the players, making sure they all have headsets so they can use, from home, and make sure everybody's taken care of, and making sure everybody has the same information because so they can know how to hook up their equipment. But for like the fighting games, for events and fighting games, that was tough because that fighting games, their online net code was trash. So Tekken trash.
Yes.
Street Fighter 5, unless you were in the training mode map, trash.
Right.
So like it kind of forced a lot of people to create and level up their games, and kind of create that ecosystem that, hey, we need online. We need to figure this out a lot better. If not, like, our game is not going to do as well because there's not that landscape where we can go to LAN now and my game is being promoted by all these fighting game players, or this and that. It definitely forced us to kind of pivot, which I'm happy about because you got the game multiverses, right? Their whole thing is netcode, mostly online. Maybe they're it's all online. You got Project L, they're focusing on online because without online gameplay nowadays, where
The
people may
game is
not want to
dead.
go to without people wanting to go out to events now because COVID-19 may have spooked them, that game's gonna fall apart and nobody's gonna want to play it. So, I'm in a way, yes, it's sucky that we couldn't continue with events and continue with the vibes of events, but I think that this was a good break. And I'll tell you something very specific. It was a good break that it just made all the developers realize how important online is and the structure. But
Hmm.
it was the first time since I left the Navy in 2018 that I got to spend the most time with my family in the past 10 years.
Yeah.
It was insane because like I was always home, spending time with my family. Before that, I was always on a ship, going back and forth.
True.
Wife over here, kids over here, I'm over here. So like it was the first time in a long time that I didn't feel forced to spend time with my family. It was just like it was forced upon us to stay at home and work from home,
Yeah.
which made me spend more time with my family, which I think was probably one of the best things that came out of COVID for me. So
Yeah. Yeah. I think that what happened with COVID obviously was like horrible. It was a tragedy worldwide. A lot of people lost a lot, whether it was jobs or
yep,
houses or their
yep,
lives or family members.
yep.
The
I
silver
got
line.
lucky enough. Yeah, I got lucky enough that the workload was so much that they just like, so in California, because my company's from California,
Mhm.
you can't contract more than 2 years. Either they hire you or you got to take a 6 months break.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So at that point, they were like, I was like, well, guess I'm screwed. But they're like, yo, we're gonna, they pushed to hire me because, like my boss needed someone to help him because this guy was drowning.
Yeah.
So they just hired me, and I just got really lucky, man, and kind of turned around my life a little bit with with having some financial backing, and that financial consistency was kind of I was very close to losing my house and things like that. So I
Yeah.
was yeah, I just got super lucky, man. Blessed. I can't complain.
Yeah. That's dope, man. I'm really happy. Really happy that it worked out. I didn't know that I didn't know that it got so bad before. I mean, from the outside, obviously, the optics, it always looks like everything is okay, or at least doing well enough. But you don't really know until you have that talk with
Yeah,
someone that like shit's hard, bro. Like,
it is, man. It ain't that easy as
yeah,
people think. So
yeah. So it's like a lesson for people to just like, even if content creators, like you said, 90K followers, like no matter what, like there's still something else going on that people
yep.
really don't know about. So
Yeah, I like I loved full time streaming when I was doing it, but at the time it's like I got family, I got kids. Streaming doesn't provide, healthcare, things like that. Like it was so tough to think about. Like I'm a numbers guy, so like I know how to budget and do things like that. And I was like, dude, how much do I need to make? And back then at the time, I think I was only making like $2,500 a month streaming,
mhm.
full time. Which the reason why I was doing the school is because I was using my GI Bill, and they were also paying me another like 2 grand. So between that, I was making pretty decent money on a monthly basis. But at the same time, it's like I still got to pay for healthcare. I still got to do this. Like it was just like different things, man. And I just couldn't keep up with it because it was just, you know, it was just sucking me. It was just sucking me dry, man. So
Yeah, yeah, that's real. Um, Speaking of sucking you dry, like these segues.
Jesus, bro. Yes.
Let's
Yeah,
talk about
started off like that.
let's talk about burnout.
Oh man. There we go.
I flipped
Jeez,
it around
man.
on you. I got you.
Oh, it was so good. Uh Good catch on that one.
Yeah. So I was actually just talking to my wife about burnout. We had this moment earlier last week where we're finally winding down into the weekend, and she just started a new job. We moved down to Texas for work, and she had this kind of like conflicting feeling of like, I finally got the job I really wanted and the place I really wanted, but like, why do I feel like not doing it right now? And we talked through it, and I told her like, hey, I went through that myself too. Like, I was contracted to make content for Facebook, and you know, I just had to do like more hours than I was doing otherwise in creating more stuff. And I just felt like all the years of build up to get to that point of all the extra hustles and contacts and phone calls, emails, meeting with people at events, doing coverage, the podcast, doing
Yeah.
illustrative and graphic design work for clients, working full time prior as a graphic designer, and then also like managing relationships with like family and friends. Like over the years, all that just built up, and I just got so exhausted and so tired. I was just like, when do I get to like reap my rewards and just like chill, right? Like
Yeah, I know.
everybody feels that in some way. So, not to say that you're going through that now or that you went through it with Astro, but just acknowledging that it is a thing. How do you deal with it? And um, what was it like when you kind of first experienced that in gaming?
So yeah, so I think the first time I ever got burnout was, playing Star Citizen, man. Like the thing is like we're like back then when I would care about my numbers or care about that stuff, like the only way I would probably get a few hundred viewers was playing Star Citizen back then. I would literally go play something else and all I would have was like 50. So in order for me to like get that number back up so I can entice, sponsors and things like that, I would have to go back to the game that I would normally play all the time. And that just created a burnout for me, man. I took a break from the game for like a year and a half because I just like didn't want, like I just told people like, everybody was like, oh, why don't you play Star Citizen anymore? People would get mad because I wasn't playing the game anymore. And I was like, look, man, you can't do any, there's nothing that you can do about it, right? So what's the point of you getting upset if I'm not playing the game that you want me to play, So like when that happened, I just like started to have this mentality of like, you know what, man, I should just start playing for my happiness, start playing for what I want to do, and that's when I started to create um this whole dynamic where I would actually play games in the hardest mode, and I kind of build upon that, right? So like, yeah, I kind of backed away from the community, but I started playing just different games. So I started playing like I started doing like these marathons that people would love and enjoy to kind of just see me and just watch me play these games in the hardest mode possible and have just a death counter and have me lose my shit and rage and do all this stuff. So I kind of, like I just like I was burnt out and I just had to move somewhere else. And if you keep, you know, going towards that burnout and you keep doing it because the numbers are good and everything is good, man, you're just gonna be unhappy with what you have, and your mental health is gonna tank more than anything because like all you're doing is concentrating on the numbers and everything else and trying to impress people that you don't need to impress. So like all that stuff just sticks in our mind, and when we're not doing something that if we're not doing something right and we're not getting the results we want, our mental health just takes a dump and it just tanks, man. And I just I you got to find other ways. That's all I'm saying. You got to find other ways, man. If you're tired of something, take a break. You know, if you don't feel like streaming because you know you're gonna get low numbers, take a couple days break, come back. You know, nobody's gonna beat you up for that. A lot of creators don't know when to take a break and when to take a breather, man, and when to say, "I need a break. Let me take a couple days off to recharge, come back, and come back refreshed." No, they want to keep going because they see the growth, they see the potential, and you know they go way too hard, they go way too ham, and then their mental health tanks. And just that's something that I've kind of caught on, and I just that it doesn't happen to me anymore because I know when I should stop, I know when I should take a break, I know when I need to back off from something for my own for my own well-being. So
That is extremely valuable advice and information. Again, I took a hiatus and took a few months off, longer than I initially wanted to take, but I needed it. My body, my
yep.
mind, everything just needed it. And during that time, I got a lot of other stuff done. But, I'm glad to be back and I missed it. And the idea so it's funny because like now you're in a position where you have to look at numbers at least for some aspect when you want to work with other people. It is like part of your job now. But
Yeah, but it doesn't pertain to me. But like it's not something that weighs on me anymore, right? So like
yeah,
so like I don't have burnout because of that, right? So
yeah.
like I can just log onto my stream and play whatever the heck I want, and just I have the same core people, and even more new people come enjoy, so like like these marathons that I used to do, man, God of War 1, 2, and 3, like all the Uncharted, like that stuff. I just created something that people just love overall, and I start I do that nowadays, and like my channel just like for some reason, man, just takes off, and people love watching you play the hardest games in the hardest mode. It doesn't matter if they've beat it already, if they played it already. They just like watching people suffer, which
They
I don't
do.
mind. Which I don't mind. So
They do. Y'all some masochists out there, y'all.
I know, right? I know.
Oh, so we have a bunch of other stuff here to talk about as well, but we don't have to get through everything in depth. But I did want to have an opportunity to give people a chance to learn more about you, some questions that they may not have thought to even ask you. And B, this is some of the stuff is just stuff I'm curious about too. Like we've known each other for a while, but I didn't know like what your first game you played. I didn't know
Yeah.
that your experience in going to events is kind of like what brought you into working with Astro. Like I didn't know you love Final Fantasy so much.
Oh man, it's so good, man. Like that's I think Final Fantasy is the thing that just gonna go in my grave with me. So yep.
That's amazing. So, we'll talk about some of the gaming news stuff, and then we'll give people at home a chance to ask whatever questions they want. So, if y'all got questions, feel free to queue those up and get ready to ask them. But I'm a bit of a Marvel's Avengers stan, even though it's got a ton of issues. I like the game. I think that if they can make some like further improvements to it, it can be like really, really good. Did you get a chance to play Marvel's Avengers?
I did actually. I actually still own it, which I thought it was really good. I know that they keep bringing out DLC characters after a while. I feel like though Square didn't see it as successful as they thought it was gonna be, but I mean I thought overall it was a great game.
Yeah, I agree. Spider-Man's finally coming end of this
Oh,
month.
wow.
Yeah, right.
Jeez, 10 years later, man. Like wow, man.
He's finally.
You're an Avengers fan, but when I saw them, reveal a little bit of like Psionics, no, not Psionics. What's that studio that works on Spider-Man?
Insomniac.
Insomniac Games is working on X-Men. I just lost my mind right there. He's
Same.
working on. Oh my gosh, I can't wait for that.
Dude, that Spider-Man game is like beyond anything I would have
Yes,
imagined for it. Like they literally did it perfect.
yeah,
And
it was too good.
yeah, I can't wait for their next one and for the Wolverine game. Like So excited. But we did get a chance to see the Spider-Man in action, swinging around and fighting and stuff like
Oh, that's
that.
awesome.
So for anyone at home who did see that, I would love to know your thoughts on that. For me, it's so hard because you're comparing it to the Insomniac game, and
Yeah.
it's not going to be the same. He's slower than he was in that game. So I think that's something that people are really like, oh, this is weird. He's kind of moving like Spider-Man, but like a slow Spider-Man.
Oh man, but
I'm,
like you know what, man? Like I can't wait. Like I don't have a PS5 yet. The reason why I don't have one yet is because like I'm waiting for the God of War edition to come out, so then I can actually like I'm a big, massive God of War fan, and I'm just waiting for that edition to come out. That's why I've been holding off from buying anything regular. So I'm just waiting for that, and then hopefully I can go back and play the games that I missed, like Miles Morales and things like that. Which, I'll go back and play those in the hardest mode and create a marathon out of it. So very excited for that.
yes, same. I'm going to see if I can bring up this link for people to see the Polygon Avengers. So there's an article. I'll put this article in the links down below, of course, but it is definitely just like a overview of what to expect with the new raid and different costumes and how he moves. I actually do want to show quickly Marvel's Avengers Spider-Man. This is probably like the first thing that comes up. Yep. So we'll play this in the background while we continue talking about the rest of the stuff. But you can see even here that like the movement it's not bad per se. It's just definitely slower. And coming from a game that's just like so fluid and excellent and like just flawless in how they depict Spider-Man, Miles Morales and Peter Parker, it's just jarring when you see a different version of him. And that's just how it's going to be. It doesn't look bad. It's just slow.
Yeah, man. I kind of miss, like, honestly, man, like some of the best Marvel games I played back then was the ones for Super Nintendo where, like, Spider-Man and you could play as Carnage and play as Venom. Like, yo, what happened to those games, man? Like, that's the stuff I want to, play as.
Yeah.
Like, Carnage was such a badass back then. Venom was such a, and like, but I mean, if Avengers can allow us to kind of play with those characters, like, like they normally would, that would be great. But, I mean, I don't mind the way they're doing it, to be honest. But at the same time, it's like, obviously the game can be a little bit too repetitive, kind of like if you're, but, I kind of take a look at it like a Diablo 3 type of game or, kind of like that. So,
or kind of like X-Men Legends or
yes.
Yeah. I feel like if this game just had more characters on launch, it would have been a lot easier for people to forgive like some of the stuff that's happening with it.
Yep, I totally agree.
Yeah. Oh man. But anyway, once again, folks, that is Marvel's Avengers. I will forever stay in the game knowing that it is as flawed as it is.
Like you said, his movement doesn't look too bad, man. It looks good.
Yeah. So this is a heavier topic, maybe not controversial, but just heavier. So the news broke that Bobby Kotick knew about the sexual allegations that were happening in Activision, as well as the fact that he himself was someone who was contributing to the culture and the abuse that was happening for women at activision-blizzard. And it really blows in a number of different ways, not just as a fan of Activision games, but just as someone who's a fan of human beings.
Yeah.
A fan of like people being treated properly. And of course the lip service of, oh, we're doing all these things to make this company better. And this is just kind of a PSA for people listening in on this, is that, we got to get rid of Bobby. We gotta get rid of him.
Like, I just funny how, like, this is not a sensitive topic for me, man. Like you got a guy who did something stupid, he condoned it, he knew about it, bro. Get the guy out of there. Why would you want to have him stick around and the board members are sticking up for him? The only thing I can think of is they don't want to let go of him is because they have he has dirt on the board members. It's just that
Right.
simple. It's just that simple. It's common sense to me. Like,
Yeah.
there's something within the board members, the reason why they don't want to let him go, and they must. He just has something on him, so he's just gonna bring everybody down with him. If it's
Yeah.
like that, then all you guys just need to get out. Like, because it's affecting not only like it. So Logitech backed out of the Call of Duty League because Astro was in it. We backed out of there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so we're actually not affiliated with them anymore because Logitech is a company that when they talk about diversity and inclusivity and that stuff, they mean it. And it also has to abide by the people that we work with. If the people that we work with are not doing that to kind of make the world a better place for us, why are we going to work with you?
Exactly.
And I completely understand that way. And a lot of companies right now should be looking at themselves internally and figure out if this is happening internally to them, because if not, if it goes out, there's going to be, it's going to be a lot of money lost between everybody. On top of this, the way that Activision was doing things were like seasonally, they would fire people. Like, why would you fire people seasonally? Like, every year they would have like this big layoff, but then they would give the CEO $150 million in a bonus.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
Doesn't make fucking sense, man. Like,
yeah.
Like, I'm telling you, man, if I was, look, man, I'm about to get a little bit crazy in here. If I was a fucking CEO, man, I would always look out for my people. All right. When I was in the Navy, the first thing I ever do was look out for my people. Doesn't matter who it was. Doesn't matter if they're wrong or not. Always look out for your people, man. If you look out for your people are going to look out for you. In return, your company is going to shine. Right. But you didn't look out for people. You didn't look out for the benefit of everybody else. You're looking out for your own selfish benefit, and they're not. And it's just going to drown you out sooner or later. Which, guess what? Time's now. Time's over. So like, man, like, it just sucks that people are still backing him up to stay, when he obviously just came out and said the truth of everything. Like, look, man, just step your ass down, because you're not making this any better than what it is. So
making it way worse. And it's not like you need the extra money now. Like, bro, you were getting several $100 million bonuses at ends of quarters for years now. Like, step down. Yep. It's time for a new leadership to come through and make some real changes. And I think I remember reading an article that was speculating about why Jeff Kaplan and the leadership for the Overwatch team all left. There was probably an NDA saying
probably it's probably the same reason why Mike Morheim and Chris Messin stepped down back then for World of Warcraft. Like, these are guys that I met in person, man. And even though they were the face of the game, like, how would you, like, these are the guys that made the game where it's at right now. That the whole expansion, all that stuff is straight down the the shaft. So like, I just feel like all these people that are just have these people on their NDAs are just running that shit into the ground. Let the people that love doing what they're doing for the community, let them do it, because they're gonna help you make the community, help you make the game, and help you make the environment better. If you're not letting those people do that because you feel like they're going to get too powerful or their voice is too strong, like, that just doesn't make sense. Yeah. Like, again, take care of your people, take care of the community. If you do those two things, man, and you're taking care of all things, and everything's covered, and you're taking care of all bases, bro, you're the most powerful person. Like, not kidding, because I'm not saying take advantage of it, but I'm just saying, like, it's easy for you to do your job when you're taking care of everybody else.
Oh, absolutely. And it's easy for an employee to do their job. They're going to feel more justification and satisfaction out of what they're doing when they know that, like, I'm going to work my ass off here, but at the end of the day, I know that they're taking care of my needs. My needs are being met, not just financially, but like emotionally, like psychologically. Like, I'm not being harassed every time I come to work. Like, who wants to go to work like that?
Yeah. I mean, like, I guess, like, I just grew up a different way, right? Like, I always said to myself, if I was getting into a position where I have a lot of money or I have this, all I want to do is help people. I do that now with my family. I do that now with friends. All right. Like, my buddy right now, he was about to spend Thanksgiving in Utah by himself. I was like, no, I bought him a flight. Get your ass down here. Spent Thanksgiving with my family because he couldn't go back home because back home was too expensive for him in Hawaii. So he
Oh
either had to
yeah.
go home to Hawaii in December for Christmas or Thanksgiving. I was like, bro, just come with me. I bought him a flight. He's coming down. Like, I will go out of my way to help people, and do what I can. But I'm this kind of person though. The second you stab my back, oh, we're done. I will never
Yeah.
talk to you ever again.
Yeah.
I will put a 200% into our friendship, into our relationship. But the second you backstab me, bro, I'm done. Like, I'm gonna, like, don't even talk to me. Don't even say sorry. It's over. Like, I'll forgive you because I know we're human. But at that point, we're done. Like, I'm not gonna, like, it's cool. I'll forgive you. I appreciate you, but like, I won't talk to you ever again. I just
Yeah.
how my attitude is. So, like, like, I don't get how these people who are making some money are just doing the worst thing to not make an impact in the world when they have when they're in the position to do so. So
They
then,
literally have the
like,
power to do it.
yeah, and they don't, man. Like, if I had the chance to do something good in the world, man, I wouldn't even think about it. I would just do it.
Yeah. Likewise, I feel like I feel like people's gauge of like where that stops and starts is like oftentimes, especially these like bigger leadership positions, theirs is just so far on the
Yeah,
me. And there needs to be balance, of course. Like, you do have to take care of yourself. You have to take care of your immediate family, right? You have to make sure they're good. But like, once again, Bobby Kotick making that much additional money and firing people seasonally just because it's like,
yep,
I'm sorry, like I'm not in that position, so I can't say exactly what I would do if I was him. But I feel like the answer's obvious.
yep,
Like, stop doing that. Maybe give
hundred
people
percent.
opportunities to live lives that are like a fraction of the luxury that you live. I don't know. Maybe that's crazy. I don't know.
People, yeah, man. Like, they just need to, like, I don't know, man. Just step down, bro. You like, like, you're already effed up. You're already fucked up. Like, you can't, like, there's no way going back. There's no way that you can turn things around for yourself. Like, Vanguard right now is this is the worst selling card in a long time. If people didn't know that, like, this is the worst selling card in a long time. It's not because the game is bad. It's because, you have people in that seat that just ruin it for other people. Like, people don't just want to support Activision Blizzard anymore. So, it's unfortunate. You got great content creators that really go year over year to help support the Blizzard brand or the Activision brand, and like Towley, like, and he just, like, he stopped playing World of Warcraft as much as he did. He went to Final Fantasy, so, like, they need to find a way to get rid of this guy and just and just really turn things around. Like, my buddy works there. He told me, look, they sent out a big email. They gave everybody raises. They did all this stuff. Now you want to do that?
Right. You have the ability
Now
to do
you
that
want
years ago.
Come on, bro. Like, and stop giving your damn CEOs $150 million in bonuses. Give it to the damn employees, man. He should be good with 10 million.
You should be good with
Not
1
even
million.
that. With shit. Like,
Yeah.
you're already making a lot of money every year, bro. You're making what? These CEOs make what? Like maybe like 50, 60. I don't know what it is, man. But like, they don't need a bonus like that, dude. Just
They
give it to the
don't.
employees, man.
They
Why you
don't.
You're laying off good people to then I don't get that shit, bro. That structure is so stupid, man.
It's even more infuriating because you mentioned you have a buddy who works there, and I'm sure this friend of yours doesn't condone
Oh,
any of
no,
this
no.
action, right? So it's like
No, but he has a family to take care of, so that's why,
and that's the part that really sucks, is that there are genuinely people working at these companies, at Activision Blizzard and other companies that have faced these issues before, who are genuinely like awesome people who just want to make a dope game. They want to make great content. I play Call of Duty Vanguard. It's a good game. I don't care for World War II, but like beyond that, it's actually a really solid game. And it sucks
yeah.
that the people who worked on that game probably aren't going to get bonuses now because the game didn't sell well enough to accrue that for. It's really frustrating and infuriating, and I hope that Activision is going to get to a point where they're in a better position again, because people who work in there need it.
Yep. I mean, We'll see, man. We'll see. All I know is that they're, suffering financially and they're trying to make things right. And I get it. But at the same time, it's like, how are you still picking up from the person that kind of ruined everything for you guys? Like, if I knew that this is the guy responsible for what's going on, he knew what was happening back then, he condoned it, bro. Like, that's in a blink of an eye. You're out of there.
Right.
But because he probably has dirt on everybody, then it can't happen. 'Cause that's the only, I know for a fact that's the reason why they haven't let him go yet.
Mm-hmm. And actually, always Losing just put in the comments as well. It's kind of the same thing with J.K. Rowling and this upcoming Harry Potter game. As far as I know, she has nothing to do with this Harry Potter game, but because it is the brand and it is the name, people are already like boycotting it.
Do people not know that J.K. Rowling has mental health issues? And I'm not saying that to pick for her, but like,
yeah,
this like she came like, I mean,
I actually didn't know that.
Harry Potter's her baby, man. I think when she started the book, like I think she was like, like almost suicidal at that point. Before she, started writing the books, but like I mean, like I'm not gonna say I'm picking up for her, but at the same time, it's like, like people need to understand that she doesn't, she like people that are brilliant in their own way sometimes have, issues understanding basic things that, which are making people boycott the game and things like that. So like a new Harry Potter game, shit, I'll play it. I love Harry Potter, man. That's all I care about. I don't care about her. I don't care about Devs. I don't care about everybody else.
Yeah.
I'll play it. I'll play it.
Yeah. So I actually didn't know that. So is she the mental health affliction? What is it specifically? Is it just like a depression or like manic or bipolar or?
I'm not 100% sure. I think if you look up like her origin story of like how, like where she went from to I think where she was to where she went, because like I think she dealt with like a lot of abuse or something like that, and then like she was almost suicidal and things like that. Like her story is very interesting to see where she was at, man, to where she's at now, dude. Like definitely a good story to kind of, read and check out, because it's definitely not an easy one for her back then. So
I will definitely do some research on that and find out, because I had no idea that any of those things were happening. But I didn't. That's my fault. I didn't look far enough into it. I just saw and read that she had said a lot of transphobic things and anti-gay things, and
I mean, a lot of people. I'm not sure if you know this, but when I read, she put out like why Dumbledore doesn't have a wife. Apparently, he was gay. Like in the books, like she's like, oh yeah, he doesn't have a wife because he was gay. Like, okay, cool. Like, but then she got so much hate for that. Like, it's like the most iconic characters. A lot of people are mad because he's gay. It's like, so what? He's still a character.
He's still a character that you loved prior to learning that he was gay. So like, what's up? What's the problem? Yeah.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's just so random. Like she does stuff here and then stuff here, right? And then yes, but I just feel like if you read her story about like the shit she's gone through, man, you can just tell like she's just, like she has her own demons of her own, man. So you just gotta, let it go.
Yeah, I get it. I definitely get it. Have you had a chance to play Battlefield 2042 yet?
Oh my gosh. I saw a lot of my friends play it, and I got offered a key from like, our influencer manager, and I said, you know what? I'm good, man.
It hurts.
I'm good.
It hurts so much.
It does, man. It does. And it's unfortunate because I know like a lot of people are, they're in there to play it for the long run, but like I just feel like Battlefield, I don't know what they're doing wrong, that it creates a hype limit and then it just dies down. And like I'm like, I don't like, they need to really do something completely different to kind of keep that high limit when they announce something, to like stay up there and not die down, right? So like it's so unfortunate that always happens to Battlefield, man. Like I don't know, man. And I just know that this one was not the best either. It was definitely off to like a bad start overall, and people were like not happy with it. Like
people are, like with all the stuff going on, like people are like, I'm just gonna go play Halo, instead. It's free to play. Like, so yeah, I'm sorry, man. They just need to find a better way to kind of help this game grow or help the community grow, because I feel like it's not there, and it's never there. And just like, they keep taking beatings from Call of Duty every year. Every year they take a beating from them.
So I have some theories about why that is. So I agree with you. I think that it gains a lot of hype, and then like somehow either during a beta or right before release, something happens where it just starts going on a decline. And I think the biggest thing, so they are doing things that are different than other Battlefield games and other first-person shooters in general with this recent release, where they have the portal, which is basically like a callback to all the previous Battlefield games, and they're bringing all of those into one experience so people can like enjoy those and customize those experiences. Very cool, awesome. They added these specialists that a lot of people just don't like, but it's a new thing. It's something that they added to the game, and they wanted to try to shake things up a little bit. My thing is, I think that the launches especially have been hurting them a lot, because when Call of Duty games come out, they'll launch with maybe some like server stability lag or something like that, or there'll be issues with error codes doing specific things, or crossplay being a little weird sometimes, but it's never to the point where like you just can't play the game. And that's been happening a lot with Battlefield, where Battlefield 4 released and it was bricking PS4s. It was it happened to my PS4 actually. They were having like tons of server issues where you just literally couldn't get on and play. They had like people falling through the levels. And of course, it's a much more grandiose, elaborate game than Call of Duty when it comes to like the scale and the ambition behind it. But like for months on end, those games just don't work for like too long. And I like Battlefield. I like it a lot. And I actually like the gunplay for this Battlefield. I have a great time with it, but the issues that are in it are just so far beyond egregious for a launch that like I could be shooting someone and like my reticle's on them, I'm hitting them, but my bullets aren't. They're just gone. Just they don't exist anymore. And
I stopped building into the hype of new games, man. Like now, like back then we were like I would die to like own a new game when it first came out. Nowadays is like, yo, man, I don't need it right now. I can get it when it's greatest hits and buy it for $20
and get it better than it was before.
I know, man. There's only a few games nowadays that I would really be like, yo, I need to buy this now. Anything Final Fantasy, anything that I really like to play that I know I'm gonna get stuck in the story. I'll obviously buy. Things like Titanfall, if they ever make a part 3, like. Titanfall is by far one of my favorite, FPS shooters. But I just like, I tried Battlefield so many times, man, and I've tried to like it, but like I just rather play, a Call of Duty instead, because like I feel like the dynamic is always the same, right? Like they can never make something that's, like why always make these big team battles? Why can't I make, why can't we have, a smaller gameplay? Maybe 4-on-4 or something like that maybe that people will like. Make smaller maps. I don't know, but they need to figure out a way to kind of change the dynamic of what Battlefield is and make it better. Because right now, like, I was excited. Honestly, I was excited for 2042, but man, like, it was such a miss, man. So it's unfortunate, but I know they can turn it around. It's kind of like, you know what? I'll bring up another game that I got upset that I thought was a great game, but they kind of flopped on it. Anthem, right? Anthem
don't do it to me.
Anthem, I played Anthem religiously on stream. I was like high level, capped out, playing with viewers, but they just missed like
so many obvious things. So many.
Yeah, they did. And they were like, they were working on it. Anthem, next was going to come out, and they're like, oh, we're going to stop doing that. Why? Give me the IP. I'll hire people to do something, do what
I'll
they
crush
want
it
to do with
myself.
it, bro. Dude, like, how can you, like, it was such a beautiful game, well made, but they just missed it, man. They just mixed. If they throw an Anthem into an MMO, I would be ecstatic. Like, do something, man. But yeah, that one made me salty. So
Lozing in chat says, I have literally sworn to myself I will never pre-order a game ever again after Anthem.
it was good though. It was good. Like, the story was good. It was good. It was just like, it wasn't what we wanted, what the community wanted. It was just super grindy. But it to me, it was a great game. It's just that it really missed out on a few things, and I thought that they were gonna really go through with Anthem next, and they didn't. They're like, oh, it's too long. They should have went through with it, because I would have went back to the game.
I absolutely would have. This is a small thing, but it's something as like so simple as the flight mechanics, which were, it felt so great to fly, but they limited you so much on how you could fly. And I was like, why? Like, the only way to cool down your thrusters was to go through water? That's it? So I can't just like fly around like Iron Man? I was like, what? No, okay. That's right.
Yeah, there was definitely, but like Battlefield, man, they just need to find a better way to to do it. I was excited with like that mode that they had. I forgot what the mode called, but like it looked like a battle royale mode, but it wasn't, because you could extract, and I thought it was like super cool to see something different, kind of like Elysium, like Ring of Elysium, and like everything just flopped, man. But I feel like EA is not a bad developer. They're not. I know they get a lot of people in there to to give them feedback on. It's just up to them to kind of apply that feedback. So whatever content creators they're working on, man, they can blame themselves too. So that's all I'm saying, man. Okay, that's kind of harsh, but like, you're there to give feedback for a reason, not to say, oh, this is so cool. Give feedback for a reason, bro. Like, that's what you're there for, a reason. If they're paying you to give feedback, give harsh feedback. They need to know it. If not, their game is gonna happen. Things like this happen.
So I'm now in the EA Creator Network, but I'm not like to the point where like they're paying me for the feedback or like to do coverage or blah blah blah. It's just they gave me a code to do some coverage of it, and even then, like, I'm still always going to be real. Like I've told chat, I'm telling y'all now, even now, like, they got a lot of issues with that game, bro. Like, there's a lot of like fundamental things about that game that just are not working. And I think in like 4 months, this game is going to be phenomenal. Right now, it's not.
Maybe they'll change the dynamic of it. I feel like games, even though when they come out wrong, they the devs can definitely bounce back on it, and I have no problem with that, because they have a great dev team. I'm pretty sure, in the back end working on Battlefield. Just take the feedback from the community, change it around. Same thing with Cyberpunk. Same issues. Like, it was the most hypest game, but guess what? The dev team said, you know what? We understand. This is what we're gonna do for the community. We're gonna turn it around, and they did. So like, it's like, yeah, the dev can take so much criticisms and stuff like that, but like, just listen to the community and turn it around, because I'm telling you, man, like, not everybody's gonna be happy, but if you listen to the majority of the community, at least the majority will be happy. So,
yeah. Last thing I have for you. You mentioned Halo Infinite. Did you play it yet?
No. I told you, man. Like, I haven't touched games in so long, man. I'm sorry. It's just that, like, the way my setup is, I finally got my new bamboo desk from Uplift. Like, I'm finally getting things set up the way I want it, so I can go back and start playing the games that I want to, and kind of do the things that I want to do. But like, until I get everything in place, I feel like if I play a game, I'm cheating on my community. That's how I feel sometimes.
It does feel like that. It really does.
Yeah. So like, I'm just waiting to get the rest of my things. Just got my streaming PC from Origin, got my gaming PC. I just need a few things, so that way, I can finally get back into the things I want. But for right now, man, I'm just concentrating in making sure that my family's taken care of with this move. The house is not falling apart. Making sure that like, my first Thanksgiving is going well. Then I'll worry about getting this stuff ready. It's not that I'm putting my community last. It's just that like I've put them first for so long in my life since I started making content in 2014 that for once in my life I want to make sure I take care of my side of things before I go back into going back into building the community that I once had. So I'm just trying to take care of myself for once in my life.
I can respect that, and that is literally the perfect way to end everything. I mean, y'all know I love Halo Infinite. I've been playing it a lot and really enjoying it. It's got some issues with the microtransactions, but it is a free-to-play game. But also the $60 releases, and it's a little bit of that weird in between. But I think it's a great experience, and anyone who's interested in checking it out, definitely just go on and download it and start playing it and getting used to it. But does anyone in chat have any questions for our special guest today before I let him go get back to his family?
Man, it's a pleasure, man. It's been a minute since we caught up, and I appreciated you that you reached out to me, man. So, if there's anything I can ever do to help, you can always reach out to me anytime as well, man. Always happy to help and do what I can.
I appreciate that. I'm the kind of person who doesn't like to abuse when people say that, so I appreciate it. And the same goes for you, man. I mean,
very honest. So if you do that, I'll tell you straight up, like, bro, no, not gonna happen. I'm glad that my attitude evolved into honesty, because back then I would be just running around the ringer, bullshitting you all day, but now it's not like that, bro. If I can't do it, I'm gonna tell you, look, man, sorry. Hit me back up later on, but I'll tell you straight up, just hell no.
That's how it should be, honestly, man. Because people, you get the saying, closed mouths don't get fed. You gotta ask, you gotta put yourself out there to do whatever it is you're trying to do. So it's good that you're taking that stance, and more people should be taking that stance too. If you can't or can or just won't be able to right now, just say it.
Yeah, man. I actually recently had to tell a person that I care about a lot. I just told him straight up, look, man, when other people are doing something wrong, right? You're the first person to go after them and hit them with the hammer. Mm-hmm. But then when you do something wrong, you have an excuse, right? Don't go after people because they did something wrong and you're hammering them. But when you do something wrong, we can't hammer you.
Yeah, double standards.
It just doesn't make sense, man. Yeah, maybe you haven't messed up in a long time. Maybe you haven't, maybe you're not a person to screw up often, but you still screwed up. And that's what makes us human. So don't go out and go, pitchforking other people when you also made a mistake, on your own. So
that's real. And it's hard for people to, when they're the kind of person who's cancel culture, I'm gonna cancel everybody, and they don't want to take responsibility for what they did.
Yeah, I mean, I catch myself, bro. I catch myself, and I tell myself, oh damn, I'm being a hypocrite. Let me stop. Oh damn, I'm being an idiot. Let me stop. Oh, I'm the first person. If I'm wrong, I'm gonna be the first person to apologize. I'm gonna be the first person to fix myself and figure out when I'm right or wrong. Right. So I'm the first person. You don't gotta tell me when if you're honest with me, man. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm never going to talk to this person ever again. I'm going to be I'm going to go back, think about what happened, assess myself, and be like, okay, I do need to be better, in doing this. So, people just need to realize, and some people don't like to do that. I mean, it's hard for me to do that, but it's how I've grown over the years, with all the experiences I've had, because it's just not worth it, man, anymore. It's not worth to deal with a headache anymore. It's not worth to just be angry at simple things anymore, man. Just figure out what went wrong, assess it. If you were wrong, you were wrong. Just get it over with. It's out of my shoulder. I don't deal with it ever again. I'm sorry. It's that simple, man. I don't gotta make shit complicated anymore.
But we ain't got time for complicated, bro.
No, we don't. It's so good, man. It's I'm over it. If I messed up, okay, I'm sorry. I'll do better next time.
Yo, that's real. That's real. Yo, thank you for your time. Again, I appreciate it. Whenever you are ready to get back to playing again, let me know. I'd love to play some Halo with you. Love to play.
Definitely, man. Definitely.
Whatever it is that's out at the time. Make sure everyone at home, you follow Crucian Gaming. I mean, what else is there to say? Where can people find your content and what it is that you do?
So, I mean, Twitter, .com/Crucian Gaming or Twitch.tv/Crucian Gaming. I'm actually, kind of getting back into content soon. So, things are going to start arising, but I'm going to be starting a tech channel on YouTube. Once after the Thanksgiving break and holidays, I'm going to start a tech channel. I just want to, I'm not here to compare products. What I want to do is show people how to use the product in the best way possible. So I plan on, starting up, back to YouTube after 6 years. So that's also Crucian Gaming. If you guys want to look for it, just search it up. And I plan on, getting back into the into the swing of things soon, and hopefully playing some games with you, man.
Yeah, that'd be great. All right, everyone. Thank you all so much for tuning in to this podcast. The next podcast is probably going to be... Depends on what's going on in the news. I'll keep y'all updated about what's going on and who we schedule for it. Obviously, this is the day before Thanksgiving, so the other two hosts that we usually have on are off doing other things, getting ready for that. Shout out to Audio Lover, who was going to be on, but he's got to do some things for... Actually, they had Thanksgiving today instead of tomorrow, so that's lit. But anyway, thank you all so much, and I'll catch you next time.